14-year-old by the name of Tatyana Butler in Illinois was bullied to the point where 2 8th graders set her hair on fire. Her friends notified her immediately, and fortunately she wasn't hurt as a result. But this is just another ridiculous bullying story where the administrators don't really seem to care much about what happened. Now, the parent of this girl who went to Thomas Jefferson Middle School in Illinois talked to the administrators, talked to the principal, and the principal, according to the parent, says things happen. The girls also were suspended, but the parent is planning on filing criminal charges against the girls because think about it, if these girls were adults, they would be charged with assault. Yeah. You can't light someone's hair on fire. Now, what's also interesting is after the mother complained and said you should have written a police report about this, the administrators didn't do it until the following day at 3 p.m. So the parent was complaining about this on a Tuesday, and it wasn't until Wednesday around 3 p.m. that they notified police officials and filed a report about it.
Yeah. Look, the fact also, by the way, after she confronted the girls who'd set her hair on fire, they punched her in the face.
Yeah,
These are some horrible kids here. So I'm going to play devil's advocate really quickly. Obviously, this is terrible. Like, that's my actual opinion. But we see these bullying cases come up so often, and it seems like the recurring theme generally, with some exceptions, is that teachers and principals don't do anything about it or don't do what we would consider to be appropriate and an appropriate response to it. And so I wonder, like, it's been a long time since I've spent time in elementary schools or high schools. It could be possible that there is just so much bullying constantly with so many students that even something like setting someone's hair on fire, like you can't, I mean, I guess you can't expel every student. Like, I wonder, I'm not saying that's the case, but that seems to be the case. Like, we don't have any reason to believe these principals are just, they're universally evil people who don't care. Maybe they're being beaten down by how horrific kids are to each other.
I don't think that, and by the way, this isn't a generalization of all administrators and all principals. I'm talking specifically about cases like this. I think that when cases like this come up, it has nothing to do with the principal being a bad person. I think it has more to do with laziness, right? So when it comes to bullying, I think that there's a very defined line. So there's the bullying where the kids will say stuff to another student and it's hurtful, and I still consider that bullying. But then there's a line that they cross when it becomes physical and when it becomes violent. And she could have gotten burned. I mean, think about it. If she was wearing clothing that had flammable material, it would have been disastrous.
Hairspray or something like that, possibly.
Exactly. So this is, they already crossed the line. I would notify police officials immediately about this. This is not the kind of behavior where you just get a suspension and it's okay.
Yeah.
But when I say that it has to do with laziness, I mean, that's why you see zero tolerance policies, because a lot of administrators don't want to have to make a human judgment. They just want to say, no, that's wrong, we're going to get rid of you, right? And it's just funny to me that in this case, it's clear bullying, it's clear assault, and the administrators don't want to do anything about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I honestly don't know. This is one of the cases where I don't know any principals. My mother works in a school. She doesn't talk about any real violence there or anything like that. But yeah, it just seems like, I mean, I assume that there is some laziness, but we know, at least anecdotally, that these kids can be incredibly just terrible to each other with the rise of like cyberbullying and stuff like that. And so I wonder if, like, we see the news report once every 4 weeks or so of a terrible thing that happened. But for all we know, every single day they're seeing things that are almost as bad. And at some point, eventually, I guess it becomes just a blur of these people are horrible to each other.